Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who's B, it's your girl KylerB coming at you with a new video. So today we're going to be talking about the Traitors season 3, episode 6. So in this episode, we literally had, this is the aftermath of Dylan going up to Carolyn and telling her, oh, Danielle has been saying your name, and I had to try so hard to get her to stop saying your name. So everybody, the Traitors get into the turret, and Carolyn is looking at Danielle like, oh, I heard you, and she's angry at Danielle for saying her name to Dylan. So with that being said, it was a whole situation. She's like, you know what, I'm gonna be coming after Danielle. So Rob was like, you know what, let's call it a truce. We're supposed to stick together. We're all, as Traitors, we're supposed to be working together, sticking together, So, Carolyn was taking it personally and making the thing. And Rob was trying to get them to have a truce. Because he was like, well, I don't really trust you because of what you did to, Bob the drag queen. And I don't trust you, Danielle, because I've been hearing you say my name. So fast forward, they call a truce, whatever. Next day, Brittany comes up to Carolyn and was like, oh, I heard you said my name. They already said they had a truce, but then hearing it the next day from Brittany asking her I heard you said my name, and then Carolyn asked her, well, is it somebody you're close to? Who other person is Brittany is close to in that castle besides Danielle and or Derek? And once you already heard Danielle speaking about your name, you're gonna automatically assume it's Danielle. So then they called a truce, try to regain trust, but then Brittany coming up to Carolyn, why would you do that? Why would you, if Danielle said don't tell anybody, why would you go directly to Carolyn and say, oh, I heard you've been saying my name? Like what? Why would he do that? Why would he do that? Both Dylan and, Brittany coming directly to Carolyn about it was really messy, real messy. Anyhow, moving along. So Brittany's come up to her and she's like, oh, I'm done. I thought we were supposed to be regaining trust, but I still see you still say my name to people. And, Carolyn was done after that. So anyways, in the turret, they had to pick a person to kill. And, Wes was coming after Boston Rob, so he was an option. Ivar was an option. And then Bob H was an option. Bob H came after, he threw in a little thing at Boston Rob. He's like, Boston Rob's is very suspect. And just before the last vote, and they obviously went to go kill Bob H. And the thing is they couldn't have killed Wes because it would have been way too messy. Because if there was suspicion on three of the three new guys coming in and one of them being a traitor, if you kill off Wes, it's just down to Derek and Boston Rob. Hello? And Derek would have been like, well, if three of the new guys is, out of three new guys, Wes is dead, then it's obviously Boston Rob, case in point. So, I mean, putting Wes as an option for, for the murder was kind of silly, especially after he pinpoint you, and said yeah, you're most likely a traitor. Anyways, in this challenge, it was essentially Carolyn, getting information from Brittany that Danielle said her name. She then went up to Gabby in the challenge and was like, have you been hearing my name from people or someone trying to set me up and throw me on the bus? And Gabby was like, yeah, it's Danielle. So after she getting all these confirmations, she's like, yeah, I'm done with you. I'm going to come after you in the round table. So now Boston Rob, he basically got his way this entire episode because what he got to kill Bob H, who was directly coming after him, and then he basically pivoted and projected onto Wes. He basically made Wes his target. Now, people like Rochelle was talking about how Wes rubbed them the wrong way because of how he talks and, like, you know, how he's kind of aggressive, da 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 da. So they kind of like, oh yeah, I think he's a traitor because of this and that, da da da. So it's just going in Boston Rob's favor, like, oh, okay, good to know. Let me write that down. Basically, because, you know, he's trying to pin it back on Wes. He's trying to get Wes up out of here. So he talking, but then Derek is like, no, and no. He's gonna stick with Wes, because Wes is theory, and say, yeah, it's, you know, it has to be Boston Rob. Is making sense because he didn't like that, you know, Bob the drag queen, you know, him and Bob the drag queen being in the turret is gonna be them butting heads, and, you know, him to like control the situation, he basically got him out.
But one of the people who suggested that you could pull off a move like going after one of your own, Bob H, is no longer with us.
Now, granted, Bob the drag queen did say, because they even brought it up in this episode, that, you know, you guys should watch out for the 3 new guys because, you know, they could be suspect, they could be a traitor. And obviously after he heard that, he's like, no. And the thing is, Boston Rob's tea was clocked so hard. Like, they had his entire game plan, or whatever, to a T. Like, Derek really, he just like made so much logical sense because it was so factual. Like, this is his first time that he had everything unlocked to a T.
We think that you guys, when you denied him access to this castle, created that monster. And I think this guy right behind me turned him into a traitor.
Like, he was pretty on point with, you know, his roundtable read. But before we even get to that, they were using, like, everybody was just suspecting, like, yeah, you know, Bob the drag queen said, you know, watch out for those 3 new guys and da 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 da. Like, you know, that's what he said. And, you know, it will make sense for Boston Rob because, you know, he's just trying to assert dominance and da 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 da. It's like a really cool move, da 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 da. Anyways, he's gathering people, Boston Rob gathering people, like, yeah, you should check out for Wes, Derek now, he's like, Wes, I got you, you know, I really think it's Boston Rob, like, let's take him out tonight at the round table. So then he talking to people, he told Danielle, he's like, I would really appreciate if you vote with me and whatnot. Then he tried to approach Brittany, and Brittany kind of got defensive and was just like, why are you coming after Boston Rob? You should be coming after Wes. So after Derek heard that, he was like, like, I don't really trust you like that, because why are you writing so hard for Boston Rob? It's kind of suspect, you know? So let's get to this infamous round table, okay? Let's get to the infamous round table. Carolyn's piped ready. She's trying to go after Danielle. She don't care who. Boston Rob, he's going after Wes. Doesn't care who. Then Danielle, you know, Derek told her to vote with him for Boston Rob. So here's how these votes went. So first they started off because Tom Sandoval, he basically said, oh, I have a feeling it's Dolores. Dolores is a traitor. So somebody brought that to Dolores' attention, and then Dolores brought out the round table, and she was just like, why do you think I'm a traitor? And then he tried to speak, whatever, but then Derek is like, yeah, you're talking in circles, you don't make any sense, like, let's cut it out, let's stop it short, because we only have, I think there's only like a 10-minute talking point at the round table, maybe 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, I don't know, but you have like a short amount of time to speak your case and then start voting. And when Alan says time is up. So what was going on, Derek's like, yeah, let's wrap it up. Okay, this is my case. He clocked Boston Rob to a T. He said, you guys created this monster when you guys denied him access to the castle. And then, you know, Alan, so when you guys come back, Alan decided to make him a traitor. And then here you go. Like, had it to a T. Alan made Boston Rob a traitor after they denied him to get into the castle by the shaking hand situation. He also was talking about how, how would you get Bob the drag queen out of this game? How, makes sense, make a sense. There's so much evidence towards it. He had the entire thing to a T, okay? Like, I was like, he's clocking Boston Rob. And then, Boston Rob didn't really have a defense towards him. He had the defense towards Wes. So they went on after Wes and was like, oh, Wes is, very cunning, da 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 da. And I think Chriselle was like, oh, the way you speak is very aggressive, and you always ask who do you think is a traitor, da da da. And then he was just like, well, if you vote for me, then I'm gonna be keeping my eye on you. So he really shot himself in the foot by saying, if you vote for me, I'm gonna keep my eye on you. And they're looking at him like why would you say that? Like, the only people who would say that is a traitor. So he just don't vote for me because I wouldn't have to retaliate against you. And, Boston Rob hearing that, he just I got, he got his leverage now. So Sierra and Chriselle was like, oh, you're threatening us. Yeah, I don't really like you, da 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 da. So Derek had his T-clock. Dylan, I don't know, he's riding Boston Rob's coattails just because he got Bob the drag queen out. And I'm just like, Dylan, you got to start thinking for yourself. You can't just keep on riding Boston Rob's coattails for an answer for a traitor. He gave you one on a silver platter because he was just trying to assert dominance and try to take somebody out who was a threat to his game. Case point and blank. He wasn't really looking out for you in his best interest. And I hope when they're watching it back, they see how played they're getting by Boston Rob. I mean, I gotta give him his, 0.5s because he had his T clocked to a T. And, is really the projection and gaslighting that Boston Rob did that really saved him. Then we have Carolyn's outburst at Danielle, oh, Danielle, you're the one causing chaos. It's not Wes. So Brittany had to fess up and was like, I never said it was Danielle, but I'm the one who brought that attention to you. So
who was starting that? It was you.
No, to be clear, that was me. I went to Carolyn and said, did you throw my name out? And
you did.
I never threw Brittany's name out.
Yes, you did.
I didn't say that it was you.
I'm not lying.
Everybody's like, what? Why are you saying Danielle's name? Why are you bringing up Danielle? And she's like, oh, da da da. So Danielle's like, it's nothing personal. You're taking it way too personal. And she's like, oh, da da da. It's like it was just going back and forth. And at the round table, you have no evidence to go after Danielle because Danielle hasn't done anything to really pin that's outside of a turret that would say she's a traitor besides her being, emotional. I would say her biggest flaw that was a big red flag, red hand, was when she played that when she was in the mission or challenge and she decided to save or get the shield for who was it for Dolores, and then I think she stole one from Derek, but then she got it back for him. But that was the red flag move. But other than that, you don't really have much on Danielle, just like how Danielle doesn't really have much on you to go off of to say that she's a traitor without revealing herself, that she, just like how Boston Rob, how would we say Bob the drag queen is a traitor without us knowing some information? Just like how he got clocked by Wes. You would only know if someone's a traitor if you are a traitor. Anyway, so the votes were tight. It was tight because it was really a toss-up between Wes, Boston Rob, and then one for Danielle, and then one for Tom Sandoval. And I think Wes got through by the skin of his teeth. Not Wes. Boston Rob got through the skin of his teeth. Wes, he was just you know what? It is what it is. He said, forget all you who voted for me, da 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 da. and he left the game as a faithful. So we get back to the turret, and it's just, the silence is loud because you got Carolyn going after Danielle. Danielle voted for Rob. Boston Rob lived to see another day, but he's just like, this is so dysfunctional. Like, how I'm supposed to work with people who, you got one person who voted for me, Carolyn voting for Danielle and causing a scene. Like, how are we supposed to go forward? So Carolyn, like, talking to Boston Rob, directly looking at Danielle like, oh, we're gonna have to banish Danielle next. So I'm just like, Danielle is just like, I'm not gonna sit down and roll over. I'm gonna come back at you the same way you come back at me.
I don't.
We just gotta go after Danielle. Whatever you say, I'm gonna fight back. Don't think I'm gonna sit there and lie down. If you bring it, I'm gonna bring it back.
So Danielle was like, well, yeah, you did say Brittany's name. I mean, you said it in the turret to kill her. So she's like, oh, well, I mean, granted, you know, that's what she meant. I mean, but it is what it is. She was just telling that to Brittany. And I mean, Brittany should have been smart enough to keep that to herself. I don't understand why she wouldn't bring it up to Carolyn for, like, let's be logical here. But, because really and truly, everyone wants to point fingers at Danielle for doing a bad gameplay. But her bad gameplay was the previous day. She tried to make amends and make it up to Carolyn, and unfortunately, you have Brittany still doubling back and, you know, basically canceled out the entire, truce that they were supposed to have. So, I mean, it really wasn't Danielle's fault in this particular episode. It's just the aftermath of everything that she did the previous night before was still trickling down after they had their truce. And, you know, Carolyn, I guess, had enough of that. So now they're in the turret, they're trying to find somebody to kill. But it's just like, you can't kill Derek because, A, Derek just called you out dead to rights. So if you do kill him, it would just be very, very obnoxious. And you're just leading everybody to know that you were the traitor after all. You know? Who else is there? Like, if you can't really kill him. But let's also talk about the shields. There was 3 shields for the challenge. Carolyn has one. She took it out of, I think, Tom Sandoval's hands. So Carolyn has a shield. I believe, I don't know, is it Chriselle? And 2 other people have a shield, but they're like saying, like, they're not going to say who has it, which shield. So, I mean, the easiest decision is whoever was in Danielle and Carolyn's group is up for grabs to be murdered, because you know Carolyn is the one that has the shield. But this episode is very messy. I mean, I feel like Danielle still is able to win this game, because after everybody gets revealed, besides Jeremy, after the revelations of who the traitors are, they're all so shocked because they're like, Danielle. I mean, besides Jeremy was the only one who was onto her. But they were still shocked. I mean, Carolyn's playing, I guess, the best, but her outbursts and pointing her fingers at Danielle is very suspect and, you know, weird. Which I think that might start her flunder in this game. But I think there's a method to Danielle's madness, and I think she's able to go to at least top 5 with how she's continuing to work. Because she does have numbers. She has Brittany as a number. She has Derek as a number. Dylan still rocks with her. And if Dolores is still around, Dolores is a number for her. She has the numbers to vote for her, including herself. She has at least 5 good votes to, you know, vote in her way during any type of banishment. So she's good. She can get to top 5. We're down to, 13 players? And then they have to murder 1, so they're down. After that, they kill somebody else again, they're down to 12 people. She can make it to at least top 5, and I think she might. I'm not saying she won, but I'm like, I think she goes pretty far in this game. But I mean, besides the messiness, Danielle's playing pretty decently. Still, you know, even besides the messiness, she's still playing pretty decently. But, you know, she could do a lot better. But anyway, guys, this was Traitors season 3, episode 6. And if you guys like the video, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, comments, concerns. You know, subscribe to my channel, subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. Peace.